Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this awesome rainbow water slide. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button as it really helps me and the channel out very much. If you are new around here, please consider subscribing as that will keep you up to date with all of the things that I'm going to be building on the channel in the future. And click the little bell next to the subscription button. That will 100% fully ensure that you get everything sent to your sub box. And that is that. Let's get started. Now, before we begin building, ladies and gentlemen, here are all of the materials that you are going to be needing to make your water slide. As you can see, you need quite a lot of things, so please do make sure that you have access to all of those and enough of those materials as well. The amount of space required to make the slide is a 42 by 74 block area. If you are tight on space, or if you're designing a water park, then you might want to build this grid in your world, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. It would take you quite a while to build it. And that's it. Please make sure that you have access to all of those materials and enough of them. Make sure that you have enough room to build this. Even make the grid if you so choose. Pause the video if you have to, of course. Make sure that absolutely everything is taken care of. And once you are ready, we can begin. Okay, so step one, my water park friends. We are going to come all the way to the front left-hand corner of the grid. If you've not made the grid, you're just going to have to hang in there one moment. Count to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then inwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And this is the starting position. So, you see, if you've made the grid, we're both starting building in the exact same place. From this position, I want you to knock out this block. And I want you to place a red concrete in it. Moving backwards towards where the back of the slide is going to be. This is the front end, that's going to be the back. We are going to dig out 4 more blocks in the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course replace those with your red concrete. Then, coming up and backwards diagonally, so pretty much just placing on the ground, place 5 more red concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, place an up left diagonal red concrete and go back by 2. 1, 2. Place 2 up left diagonal red concretes. 1, 2. Go left by 2. 1, 2. I then want you to place an up left diagonal red concrete and place a 6 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are then going to go backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then place an up left diagonal red concrete and go back by 2. 1, 2. Place 2 up left diagonal red concretes. 1, 2. And go back by 2. 1, 2. Place an up left diagonal red concrete and place 14 on top. That's a lot, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just like that. Easy as that. Now, once you have that 14th block, we're just going to extend backwards by about 4 or so blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, whether you recognise it or not, that is actually a huge part of the slide complete, because we are going to repeat this pattern quite a few times. But first, we are going to extend all of these red concrete blocks, extend them inwards by an additional row. That's right, just 1 row. The base of the slide is 2 blocks thick. So this is the part that you are going to be scooting down as you go all the way down to the bottom of the slide. So that wants to be 2 rows thick. The way that we make the sides of the slide is very simple. 1 row higher, diagonally outwards on both sides, you simply place a row of red concrete. So, everywhere that you have the red concrete base, you want to 1 row higher above next to it, you want to have red concretes. So for the flat parts, the long flat parts, which I will call the drops, these parts, you want to extend the red concrete backwards and up and around. It wants to look very, very smooth. But you might have already seen this already. For the parts where like you've got little dips and stuff as the slide descends, but it's not an actual full-on drop, you want to have diagonal pieces of red concrete. So they don't want to connect together on the small parts, but on the long parts they do. And this is a pattern that we are going to be repeating frequently. That's right. Once you have done this part of the slide, let me tell you, the rest of the slide gets a lot easier, as we are now going to focus on making the other parts of the slide. When I say other parts of the slide, I mean the parts that you would actually slide down. This is kind of like a nice rainbow coloured, multicolored water slide. It's fit for 5 people. So we have 5 separate tubes that we slide down. And that is one of them. Well done for making it this far. The next thing that we're going to do is add on another colour. So what I want you to do is 1 row away to the right of the red concrete, we are going to use orange concrete and create the same slide. That's right. This is the easiest way to do it. Leaving a gap of 1. Going right, that's all it takes. Copy the slide to the side of you. There is no need, absolutely none whatsoever, to make this more complicated than it has to be. Just copy what you have done on the previous part of the slide. So, as you can see, that is the side of the orange slide, which is fun to say, by the way. We want to do now the underneath part. So we would dig 5 rows underneath for our orange part of the slide. This is the bottom part, right? We dig 5 rows in the ground. And then we would place the orange concrete that sits underneath the sides of the slide, right? That's all we've got to do. It's as easy as that. So just make sure that you are copying the opposite side of the slide. If at any point you run into trouble, you just gotta look at the red one. If you manage to do the red one, then this orange one will be absolutely no bother whatsoever. And let me tell you, as you crack on, as you do more and more of these, you might struggle with this orange one, but you'll struggle less with the yellow one, and then the lime one, and then the blue one. It really is quite simple and repetitive. As a matter of fact, a lot of this water slide is just a case of repetition. However, we are going to be moving on after we have done all of these slides, and then there are a couple of more complicated things that we do have to do. It's not all just the exact same thing for the entire rest of the tutorial. There are a couple more aspects to the water slide that we are going to be adding, but a large part of the water slide is, of course, the slide itself. So once you have completed this second part of the water slide, you can now see that we have a red slide and an orange slide. So, what are we going to be doing next? We're going to shift on to our next colour, which is of course yellow. Leaving a gap of 1 from the end of the slide, we are going to make another. So, red, orange, yellow, we'll then be using green, and then blue. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't slightly inspired by the rainbow. It just looks nice in succession, doesn't it? I like the colours of the rainbow, I like water slides, what more do you need? If you so chose, you could in fact make this a rainbow water slide in the sense that you could have 7 colours. So, what do we have? What are we missing? Indigo and violet? You could easily add those 2 if you wanted. You'd use magenta and purple after these, if you wanted to make the slide ever so slightly larger. It just seemed as though that 5 colours was good enough for me, but feel free to extend it and make it larger if you like. Another cool part of this slide is that you can make the drops taller if you don't necessarily want to alter the water slide that much. Like, you know these parts that we're just kind of like building now? the really long parts. You could make that really high. As a matter of fact, I might even make a water slide that has really high drops, like all the way down. I think that would be pretty cool. But you can alter this water slide as well to make it a little bit more interesting for yourself. So if you're not quite happy with how I've designed the slide, then you could absolutely do that if you wanted to. Like I said, I would like to make like a huge water slide, like maybe even something like crazy, like even like a sky limit water slide, something like that. I'd make a really cool design, and then I'd just build it up to the sky limit. And this one could do the same. I mean, it'd be pretty crazy. I wouldn't want to have to get back up to the thing. I'd probably have to like build a little roller coaster or something to get all the way back up to the top. But yeah, it might definitely be worth trying at some point after I've got a few more of these. But as you'll see, time melts away. We now have red, orange, and yellow, which means the next colour is lime. And notice how I'm not even thinking about it now, and I doubt that you guys are either. You leave a gap of 1 and you add an additional slide. Something else that I wanted to say at this point in the tutorial is you do not have to use these colours. You could make it so that your water slide is only 1 colour if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. You could make it so that it's 2 colours, 3 colours. You don't have to. The point that I'm guessing at here is you don't have to use the colours that I'm using. You can easily mix and match, and let's say that you're a blue fanatic. Not the band. They're still going. I actually have no idea. But you have to Google that one. I think they're an old band, Blue. I think they're like an old boy band. But anyway, if you wanted to, you could use, multiple shades of blue, or you could use multiple shades of green or red or whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to have the multicolored theme, although I think it is nice to use a nice big bright mixture, especially when it's like a water park. There's something about bright colours that just makes it more fun. This slide is certainly a little bit more attractive looking than the one next to me. The one next to me is cool and all. I love the one that you might have seen. Do I seem crazy? I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? There we go. There's not an imaginary water slide. That one's cool and all, but there's something about the allure of like loads and loads of colours that it's just, it's attractive. And you can ride it with your friends too. 5 people, I mean, you can stuff more people onto this obviously if you so chose. You could definitely get more people going down it, but there's only 5 individual slides, so at any one time really, like in unison, can you only have 5 people. I guess it's double wide. I guess maybe you could even have 10, but you guys see what I'm saying. So now we have completed the lime part of the water slide. So we have red, orange, yellow, and lime, which means we have some light blue left. And this is going to be the final part of the water slide, but as I mentioned earlier, it does not have to end for you at this point if you don't want it to. Now, you might be wondering to yourselves, what sort of things do we have to do once the slides have been completed? Well, we have to find a way to get up to the top of the water slide. So, not only are we going to have to build some stairs that lead us all the way from the base of the water slide, but we're also going to have to build a frame around the water slide as well, which is going to be quite time consuming. Not so bad as the water slide that I showed you over there that has a lot of a wooden structure. This one's very simple in comparison, but it is going to take time as the water slide is quite large. And it was also somewhat tricky as I was designing it to build in a set of stairs that looks normal. You'll see what I mean as we build it, because the water slide has a few drops, really long drops, you can't just build these stairs necessarily just directly at the side of the water slide. You'd need ladders to scale the vertical part, so you've got to build the stairs in a particular manner that will allow you to build them side by side, and so that the stairs don't kind of overshadow the actual slide itself. But you'll see what I'm talking about more so when we do actually tackle that point. But we are slowly coming towards the last part of the water slide, which we're about halfway up. This is the last row of light blue concrete that we want to do, and once you have placed it all, you should end up with something that looks quite impressive That's nice. There we go. You should have 5 individual slides all next to each other, which looks really, really cool. Or at least I think it does anyway. Well, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to whip out the block of quartz, okay? So, the reason that we have the block of quartz is because we want to place block of quartz on the outside parts of the water slide. And it just wants to sit underneath the edge of the water slides, right? It wants to sit on the left and right sides of the left and right part of the slides, meaning it wants to be on the outside of the red slide and on the outside of the blue. And it's going to serve as a little bit of a framework, like this. So you can see we want to place quartz block, kind of just going around it, zigzagging its way around the side of the slide like this. And you want to have the same effect, I do believe, yep, on the opposite side of the slide as well. And it can connect underneath and everything like that. It's almost as if you're adding an outline effect to the slide. But in reality, we're just kind of making a bit of a frame. It doesn't make sense to just kind of have the slides themselves just kind of like hanging there in the air. They have to have a little bit of framework applied. And that also applies to in between the slides, which is trickier to do. So in between the slides, we also want to have some block of quartz as well. This block of quartz is basically going to take the exact same path as all of the other blocks of quartz, except it sits in between the slides. So nobody can access the real purpose of this in between the slides is so nobody can fall off of it. Basically, like you just fall onto the block of quartz and you dust yourself off and then you'll be okay. So now, there you go. It's actually a bit easier to see from this side perhaps. But we want to have the same thing everywhere, and it makes it look better as well. Like with the with the quartz block there, you could use white concrete if you wanted to. It really makes these slides pop a little bit more in terms of colour. They probably don't want to pop like in sound because that probably means that something's wrong. I don't think I want to be on a water slide that pops. I'd probably want to. I'd want to abandon ship if that happened. But yeah, this is a necessary part, and it's going to lead us into the frame of the water slide, which is going to be pretty cool. Because you see, once the frame's on there, and once we have like a nice platform and everything, you know, we're casually, we're going along, we're moving along, we're sliding along as we do each individual part of this. It's really like, I quite like builds like this in which there's a little checklist, like there's something specific you've got to do, albeit a lot of. But I like it when you can do each little part of the checklist. So for instance, like now that we've done the slides pretty much, we're doing the little frame here, and then once that's done, we do this. If you know what I'm saying, it's quite satisfying to have like a little list of to-do things and to actually like write them off one by one. And there are a couple of details too that we'll also have to add between the slides, and like digging into the ground and all of that fun stuff. But we will manage to do that towards as we get towards the end. But I do want to get the more complicated ones taken care of first. And you will see that once you've placed all of the block of quartz, your hard work will have paid off, because it will look a lot more fortified, and it will, meaning a lot stronger, and it will look just a tad bit better. And something that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to dig in between all of the slides now, and I'm going to place some block of quartz in between the slides like this. So in the ground, we don't want to place the quartz anywhere unnaturally. It wants to be in the ground like this, so set just below all of the water slides. If you like, you can jump the gun a little bit and place quartz slabs on the ground next to the edges of the slides. And this is actually going to form where the pool is going to be. If you like, we can actually make the outline of the pool, although we won't fill it in until later. All you have to do is place 13 quartz slabs coming forwards from the edges of the slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, something like that. And we are going to then extend across and connect like this. So, there we go. Perfect. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. So that is where the pool is actually going to be situated. Just like that, right? Perfect. Now that we've done that, I think that it's time to take kind of a sideways view to the water slide like this. Now, the reason that we're taking a bit of a sideways view to the water slide is because we want to be able to make the frame of the water slide. As I keep mentioning, it's quite important to have a frame. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to come all the way up to where we placed all of this block of quartz here, right? And we want to take this end block of quartz that marks the end of the slide, and we want to extend it backwards by an additional by 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. We want to come to the opposite side of the build, and we want to extend this side backwards only by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. We are going to come back to the original 15 and extend it across. We want to extend it across so that it would, if we wanted it to, line up with the opposite side of the slide. But what we are instead going to do is extend it outwards by 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. We now want to take that 4th block and we want to begin the process of extending it down towards the ground as well. So we're first of all going to extend it forwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it lines up there very nicely. And now we are going to extend it down. This is the sort of pattern that we're going to be doing, right? We want to go down, forwards, down, forwards, down, forwards. I'll let you know when you have to stop. So keep going down and forwards like this until you get to the straight part of the water slide. You'll see what I mean. Down and forwards like this. Perfect. You can see that we have lined up with this part of the water slide, right? So what we now want to do is go forwards by an additional 3. 1, 2, 3 like that. So we're lining up with the smooth part. And then all we do is we continue going down and forwards. All the way down to the ground now. And this is just so, number one, the walkway looks a little bit more interesting, but it also, it just looks a little bit better, like it lines up with the slide better. If you wanted to, when you got to this point, you could even go, like, you see where we've hit this flat part, you could go 1, 2, 3, and then you could go like down and forwards, and then you could go like down, forwards, 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 down, and then something like that, right? If you wanted to, then that way, like, the walkway is actually quite, like, it follows the flow of the slide a little bit better, right? I don't know how else to say it other than that. It just kind of follows the flow of the slide. Anyway, what we now want to do is create some stairs. So the stairs are going to be placed in these positions. So anywhere that we kind of have like a step up, the stairs just want to kind of like settle one row behind. Like every time you have a set of steps, and by the way, the steps are three rows wide. They kind of just want to sit underneath the quartz blocks. So like in these positions is where we're going to place the birch stairs, like this, right? So in between the quartz, like this, or better yet, like it just one row down from the quartz. So the steps don't really want to stick up at all. They want to look like this. The birch that we're going to be placing is going to sit underneath the actual quartz frame because it looks kind of cool the way that we're going to be doing it. But just to give you an idea, you can see that these steps, you shouldn't really be able to see them from the side, but these steps do not poke upwards. So you would then take out your, well, I don't have it on me, but it will be in the material list, the birchwood planks, and you would place the birchwood planks in between. And now you can see them underneath like that, right? And then you just fill in the gaps like this. Just like that. And then they would also be here as well. you guys get the idea. So we want to be able to walk around on these platforms, and we're even going to make it so that we have birchwood planks for the underneath part of the platform up at the top of the building. So the large platform that we have right up at the top like this, here, underneath the quartz, we're going to have the birchwood planks. And this is going to set one row underneath as well, just because it just kind of works nicely. And we're going to fill the platform in all the way up to the actual water slides too. I hope that I'm not building this in a confusing way, although I do have a feeling that I am. But I hope that you guys managed to build something similar to this anyway. Like, it's not really that important, the ins and out details of like how this all goes together. Like, as long as it looks good, it doesn't matter if it's like exactly dead on at all. But the idea is we want to have the birchwood plank set underneath the quartz block platform, and it's sort of like a two-tone depth thing. Like, they're just two materials that go really well together. And additionally, what we're going to have to do is, of course, we are going to have to add in the other sets of stairs as well. But I'm going to show you why that isn't a great idea to do yet. So, hang on, we have almost filled in this, which is good. So you can see all the way up at the top of the water slide. There we go. We now have a nice solid platform that we can take the slides on, right? We have a nice solid platform. Well, what you can do is you can stick some quartz stairs on the end, if you like, kind of like this. So some quartz stairs here and maybe up here. So you can easily climb up onto each water slide. So just on the end, and then actually inside the lip of the water slide. And then all you can do is place some like red concrete next to the red water slide and some orange concrete next to the orange, and just kind of like smarten it up a little bit, right? So instead of having loads and loads of exposed blocks, now we have something that actually looks quite nice up here, right? And the same sort of thing could go up here, like actually it looks fine. So now we're going to focus on the top area with all these stairs, and we are going to extend the birch stairs upwards like this. And you're going to notice a problem probably quite quickly. As we place all of these birch stairs, there's nothing for them to grip onto. There's no wall here, there's no barrier, which is a problem because you can fall off the water slide. Yeah, it wouldn't be a great way to start your holiday, would it? It wouldn't be a great way to enjoy your stay at the water park, falling through the side of the slide. So what we're going to have to do for these parts is add some quartz block like this, right? On the inside of the slide. And this is going to create a barrier. It is going to create a wall in which we are not going to be able to fall into the side of the slide like that. And then we can easily just fill this in. We'll drop down another level, we'll do the same thing. We'll make the rest of the framework, but I can tell you most of the framework is done. And then we can focus a little bit more on the pool and all of that sort of fun stuff. So it looks a bit better as well, because it's as if you're not looking into just like the underneath workings of the slide. It looks a little bit better like that as well. So why don't we drop down a level and do the same thing here? So where we have these birch stairs, I don't think that these are as many. I might be wrong, I think this might be about as many stairs, but extend the stairs across and then we can fill in the remaining area of the water slide in using the quartz block. So here and here. And then, as I said, yeah, it's a little bit of a smaller area, luckily, but all you have to do is just place all of the all of the quartz block next to the birch and just fill in this gap. That's all you gotta do, nothing else to it. So just like that, there we go, and it just makes the water slide, honestly, it makes it look a little bit more complete, if you ask me. Now that we've done that, what I think I'm also going to do is I'm just going to extend the entrance here of the water slide. I'm just going to extend the quartz so that it fits in here. And, well, all of the floor is actually going to be birchwood, so I don't have to change the floor. But what I do want to do is on the back of the water slide, we've got two back corners, right? These, all I want to do is extend them down. That's it. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to extend down the quartz blocks all the way up at the top of the water slide. I want to extend them down so that it looks as though it's being propped up by something. You do not have to add in beams and blah blah blah. This will do just fine. Like how it looked before, like it did look a little bit silly because it's just kind of floating there. But with this, two rows of block of quartz will actually, I don't know, for some reason it looks secure now. It looks, you know, as if it's supposed to be here. It's just nice and propped up. It's a very simple platform. If you want, you can add some horizontal rows of block of quartz, like in between, like the slides and stuff, but it's really not that necessary. So there you go. You know, it does make quite a bit of difference. Fill it in if you like, by the way. I wouldn't know. It's a lot of work. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab the birch fence and I'm going to connect the legs of the water slide, the back corners. I'm going to dig in the ground and I'm going to place quartz block in here, and I'm connecting the back legs of the water slide. Not only am I going to be connecting them together, and I noticed, oh no, that's so annoying. Hang on. No. Where are we? There we go. Boom. There we are. I could not live with myself if that grass block had not been replaced, because I don't know, something's wrong with me. But I'm going to connect all of the bottoms of the slide together like this, so it's all nice and uniform, right? And then I'm going to place the birch fence on top of it. You could use oak fence, by the way. I'm using oak fence a little bit later, but you can use any kind of fence, really. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't use dark oak fence or acacia fence, or spruce fence even. I'd stick to birch and oak, but more preferably birch. But feel free to do what you like. And for some reason, to me, that looks okay. Like, there's nothing there that screams, like, danger. Like, that just looks alright to me. But that's my feeling. So, what are we going to be doing next? I'm going to tell you. On the sides of the water slide, I am going to, and I noticed I have made a slight boo-boo. It seems as though that I haven't left the exactly right amount of space between the end of the water slide and where the barrier is going to be for my water slide. Although I do know how to fix it, it's just a little bit cheaty, but we'll talk about that. So there are a few things that we have left to do. Okay, so number one, we have to fill in the pool for the water slide. That is going to require water, some white glazed terracotta if you want to use that, or you can just use block of quartz. We're going to need to fill in around the actual water slide area. That's going to require birchwood planks. We're going to put a border around the area which requires quartz slabs. We're going to add some seating which requires quartz stairs, oak fence, red beds, white carpet, and some red carpet as well later on. Now these are all things that I'm going to show you how to do, but I am going to complete independent of the tutorial. So the way that you would fill in the pool is this. You dig 2 rows into the ground, okay? 2 rows into the ground. I'm only going to do a couple of rows of this because this is really time consuming. And I don't want to tack the time onto the video because I don't want you guys to have to sit through all of this and listen to me ramble about eventual nonsense. But the base of the pool I want, for whatever reason, to be, what colour is it? White glazed terracotta. Because I like that. It goes well, but feel free to use a different sort of material. The sides of the pool underneath the quartz slab are going to be block of quartz. So all the way around, we're going to have block of quartz underneath the quartz slabs, like this. Bloop. Which is perfect. And of course what we would then do is fill it in with water. That's all you do, right? But imagine this, but more of it, right? Going that way. I want to create a border also around the water slide. This is quite easy to do. I want to leave a gap of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see this is where I've made a boo-boo. And I want to have 5 rows of birch planks all the way around the slide. And I want to have quartz slabs everywhere else. So I'm going to mark out an area using quartz slabs. This is where I made the mistake. I should have started an extra row or so this way. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I made a slight boo-boo. And then the birch wood planks would go there. And then we would have quartz slabs here, right? So birch wood planks going all the way around. I do apologise for getting it slightly wrong, but this won't affect the front of the slide very much. It more affects the back of the slide where we've got a little bit of space. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how you do it. You just mark out 5 blocks everywhere, right? And you place the quartz slabs on top. And then this way you've got a nice amount of clearance going all the way around the water slide like this. In front, I've got to come 1 row forwards because, again, I made a slight error. I wish I would have started 1 block backwards, but I didn't know until the end here. But there we go. So you can see we've got a nice border around the slide. And all of this area is going to be filled in with birchwood planks. And it's going to look like this, right? That's all there is to it. Birchwood planks. And it's a large area, so it's going to take a long time to do. Unfortunately, because it's not the greatest fun, really, filling in huge amounts of area with materials, but it is kind of relaxing. And the last thing that I'm going to add as well, these are all off of recording, right? I'm not going to be doing this like straight up tutorial wise, because it's quite easy to do and it's very repetitive. But it's also, I'm going to require the red carpet. So I'm going to go all the way around the pool at the edge of the water slide, and I'm going to place some sunbeds. So the sunbeds look like this. It's a quartz stairs with 2 quartz slabs in front. And away from the middle of the sunbed, 1 row away, we'll have 2 oak fence on top of each other, right? Place a row of block of quartz or some sort of solid block all the way around the top of the second fence. And place beds all the way... Place beds all the way around the top of this with a block of quartz in between them all right in the middle, and destroy all of the supporting blocks underneath. And that's all you do. You can then feel free to place another bed on the opposite side here, 1 row away, rinse and repeat. Additionally, in the corners and stuff, I'm going to place kind of like some kind of like additional lounging areas. You know, sometimes people like lay on towels and stuff, kind of like just hanging around. That's these sort of areas. Plus it adds some colour to the otherwise kind of look, sort of like dull birch. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that all the way around the slide. And that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, some tasks. Gonna fill in the pool. Gonna fill in the area around the water slide with birch planks. And I'm going to make some sunbeds and stuff. I've shown you how to make the sunbed, so hopefully you guys will be able to do all of these things. I am going to go away now. I'm going to do that all. And I'm going to show you what the water slide will look like once all of that has been fully completed. And we're going to do my favourite thing, absolutely favourite thing when it comes to these. We're going to add the water to the slides together. It is so satisfying to watch. It is so satisfying to do. I'm not gonna deprive you of those things, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go. I'll do all those things, and I'll be back. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have actually almost finished adding all of those additional details to the build that we just spoke about. But I did realise that there were a couple more things that I wanted to do as well that I thought that we should do together. So, for instance, in between the water slides at the bottom, it'd be cool to add some quartz slabs in between them, because it just kind of makes them even and level with the edge of the pool, kind of like this. You can see the quartz slabs on the opposite side. And what that allows you to do is place some sea lanterns in the separations between the water slides at the bottom. And it kind of just looks cool. I messed that up, didn't I? There we go. It kind of just looks cool like that. And just one other thing, that's all it is, just one other thing. Where we have the entrance to the slide, where you would walk up, I want to dig out the area in the ground and place either quartz block or quartz slab. As long as it's got the quartz appearance, I don't really care. And I want to place a birch fence on it, and then that way it's just kind of like, it just looks a little bit nicer, like it's a little bit more uniform. And in doing that, you can see it really does just kind of add to the build a little bit, or so I think anyway. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is what the slide will look like. I do, just before I show you all of it in a nice 360 degree view, I want us to all enjoy adding the water to these slides, and this is why it's enjoyable, and I'm going to do this quick, okay? I'm quickly going to add 2 water to the top of each slide, quick, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I find this so satisfying. Quickly, look at that. That's perfect. Look at how the water just slowly goes down each slide. It's so satisfying. I love that, and then it all just drips, drops, perfect. Just 2 water in every single one. I love that. So now that we have completed the slide, and I hope that you guys are able to do all of the things that I've been able to do, let's take a look at it. So this is what your water slide will look like once it has been 100% fully completed, ladies and gentlemen. We have 5 individual slides. We have a generous amount of space around the outside edge of the slide. We have a relaxing area. We have a set of stairs that leads us all the way up to the very top of the frame. We actually have framework in place as well. Everything is filled in and polished and perfect, and nothing else needs doing. This is what the build should look like once it's been 100% fully completed. I do hope that you have managed to do this for yourself. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you are new around here, please consider subscribing and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. If you would like to make any more water slides, then please leave a suggestion down below as to whether or not I should make some more, because I do have that one over there, and I have some really old ones on my main channel, but I would like to make some brand new awesome ones like this one and that one over there. So let me know in the suggestions whether or not you'd like to see that. And if you do want to see these water slides in all of their glory, if you want to see all of the ones that I might be making and these two, check out the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section, and that will show you to all of the places that you go. That will show you the water park playlist that I'm slowly building. That's in the card system, in the description below, and at the top of the comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate all of you very, very much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.